Marjorie Titan Greene, also known as Maoist Taylor Greene. That's right. The M stands for Mao now. She's gone woke, folks. She's the woke titan now. She did a 60-minute spot. Let's take a look.
He called you a lunatic, I'm quoting. He said all she does is complain, complain, complain in caps, and then he called you a traitor. So he hit you, whacked you.
Yes, he did this in the same time span where President Trump brought in the al-Qaeda leader that was wanted by the U.S. government, who is now the president of Syria. Then within a week, he brought in the Crown Prince, MBS, who murdered an American journalist. And then he brought in the newly elected Democrat socialist mayor of New York. That was the time.
This is why it's so funny. She goes from Donald Trump had Mohammed bin Salman in the White House. Donald Trump had former al-Qaeda leader Jolani in the White House. And also he had the mayor-elect of New York in the White House. I feel like if you're going to criticize Donald Trump for some of these things, at least make it, I don't know, somewhat equivalent. Like these things are not similar to one another in any way, shape, or form, unless you're just literally going, he's having a bunch of Muslim mans in the White House. It's not supposed to be the Sharia house. He's doing woke jihad. Like, I can't think of any commonality between these three people other than the fact that they're Muslim, I guess. You don't get it, Hasan? This is the extreme center? Yeah, I like it.
You say the president put your life in danger. You blame him. You say he fueled a hotbed of threats against me, and that you blame.
So Trump was right about her being a lunatic? Yeah, except she's a lunatic in the same way that Trump is a lunatic. Like, Donald Trump is not calling her a lunatic because of the same reasons I would call her a lunatic. Donald Trump is calling her a lunatic because she's talking shit about Donald Trump, and you can't come after Big Papa like that, especially on the Epstein stuff. But yeah, this is also good because it's another somber reminder for all who kind of get on the Marjorie Taylor Greene train a little bit, right? You're still talking about that guy, Jeffrey Epstein. Why are you talking about that guy?
4 more years.
This new intense vitriol between them is jarring, considering she's been one of the...
Yeah, she made a campaign commercial where she equated fighting her opponents on the left with blowing up something with a rifle and Tannerite, and now she's surprised that people are threatening violence against her. She literally became a notable figure in American politics for stalking and harassing the victims of the Parkland school shooting. Are we forgetting who Marjorie Taylor Greene is? Like, I mean, she's dope from a content perspective because she's insane. A straight up demon. She is a lunatic. It's just funny that, as is the case with many right-wing figures, the one time where she has like an honest thought, or at least like gets close to having an honest thought, where she turns around and says, hey, like, I thought we were fighting the deep state, and it kind of feels like you're invested in the deep state pedophiles continuing to do deep state pedophilia. Donald Trump was like, you should die. I hope my fans kill you. And that's where we're at now, where she's like, I'm in fear of my life every day. But it's crazy because, like, she was the type of person that would also direct the same kind of animosity whenever Donald Trump yelled at anybody else.
You know, you have all kinds of people come in the White House. Have these women come in the White House. These women deserve...
Dude, people are warming up to her with this term. My mom's told me after watching the 60-minute segment that she likes her now and doesn't care what she did before, shaking my head. But even in the 60-minute segment, she's literally like, Donald Trump had Zohran Mamdani in the White House, which is equivalent to Jolani, the former leader of Al-Qaeda. It's like, that's psychotic. What the Like, I'm not trying to be a purist. Enjoy the show, let them fight. That's awesome, right? I'm on board with that. But that's crazy how you can tug on a boomer's heartstrings by acting as though you had a genuine change of heart. Holy dude. It's just like, I'm in favor, and no, that's not the centrist position. Centrists do like Zohran Mamdani. Y'all are crazy. You're nuts. They just don't realize what she's doing there when she adds that into the conversation. Like, average liberal voters love Zohran Mamdani. Don't act like that's not the case. If you believe that they don't, then you've been deluded by what you've seen on the internet. The problem here is I think she's able to just like sneak stuff like that in because a lot of people have a blind spot to the Islamophobic sentiment that's coming out of this commentary. Like, people just don't realize what she's saying when she says like that. You feel me? Also, yes, they are always forgiving and understanding to other whites. Only immigrants get that hate. Yes, this is also true. There's truth to that.
She said in her resignation video that the president has gone establishment, forsaking the base and her.
If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocon.
Yeah, it's the same as that dip Andrew Tate saying he became Muslim and every Muslim saying he changed with no action. Now look at him. Exactly. That's actually has a great comparison. Remember when Andrew Tate was like, oh, I've converted to Islam. And then every Muslim dude was like, oh, that's so sick. Oh my God. Hell yeah. He's the man. And he didn't do anything. Like Sneeko actually reverted. Okay. As much as I criticize him, as much as I on Sneeko because it's very warranted, he did legitimately revert to Islam. Like he is actually, that was a real change in his life. And it's ironic because he did it because Andrew Tate did it first, but Andrew Tate actually didn't do it, which makes it even funnier. But regardless, he was claiming that he had done this, but he didn't actually do it. He was just doing it for marketing reasons. And I talked about it at the time, but it's such a classic Westerner opinion too, because he was like, oh yeah, I'm actually converting to Islam because, they beat women over there and they actually will kill you if you make fun of the prophet. It's like, dude, that's not, what are you talking about? It's like a very Westerner approach to what Muslims believe. It's like this Western understanding of what Muslims believe. I'm converting because Muslims are barbaric. That's what he was saying pretty much. Anyway, yeah, it was an extremely Orientalist approach to Islam in general. And it was very annoying. It was very annoying to see at the time, and I kept saying this is ridiculous, but people would not listen to anything I said.
Big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class.
Are you saying that the president now is siding with those establishment powerful people and against MAGA?
He passed a crypto bill that helped out all the crypto donors. He has served Israel's interest, even attacking Iran. He has served Big Pharma. He didn't take away the COVID vaccines that we want to see taken away.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is mad at Donald Trump because he didn't make vaccines illegal. Do you understand why this is kind of insane? This is not a why make perfect the enemy of good situation. Because this is advantageous. If you're on the left, it's still advantageous, right? There are still loyalists within the MAGA cause that like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and they'll listen to what she has to say and they'll go, you know what? She's right. Maybe Trump is phony, right? Or if she's able to convert people into taking an anti-Israel position or whatever, which I don't think she is because those people already have the anti-Israel positions, it's fine. Right-wing infighting is good. But you should still be a little bit, you should keep her at arm's distance because her position on Israel, if it was truly a position that she held because she thinks human beings and babies shouldn't be slaughtered or whatever, she would probably be a little bit more understanding about why Muslims live in America, for example. She would probably be a little bit more understanding that Muslims are not all about the idea that Muslims are not all barbaric rapist monsters and decapitators or whatever. She's not. Hassan, when Mao said women hold up half the sky, she is who he was talking about. I don't think he was talking about Maoist Titan Greene.
But it became clear to us that she hasn't entirely lost her appetite for combat.
It's the most toxic political culture, and it's not helping the American people.
But you contributed to that. You were out there pounding, insulting people.
Leslie, you've contributed to it as well with your own.
The other side of this is that liberals have no leg to stand on because every single one of them has done unimaginable pro-Israel propaganda, including Leslie herself, on this very same broadcast about the intentional act of mass violence and terror that Israel did with the beepers. Technically, if these dipshits were a little bit smarter on the reactionary side, and unfortunately for all of us, Nick Fuentes is that smart, he could just literally turn around, or Marjorie Taylor Greene in this situation could just turn around and be like, a lot of people say I'm divisive politically and I've taken ownership over that. Have you taken ownership over defending Israel's mass terror crime of blowing up beepers that you celebrated on this very same broadcast? Because when you do that, they have no counter. It's yeah, I use spicy rhetoric. I use spicy language. You sat here and you talked about little girls getting maimed and blown up and killed with Israeli pagers by the Mossad, and you thought that was awesome. Which one of us has normalized violence more, you think? Me or you? That's always a very effective counter that these people can use. That's part of the reason why Fuentes is able to cut away at the noise whenever he turns around and says, okay, everyone's calling me a Nazi. What about Randy Fine? They're like, Randy Fine says everything that I'm saying as Nick Fuentes, but in the opposite direction, and all of a sudden it's totally normal. Like when you make that argument, it comes across as sincere for people who at least like don't care about anti-Semitism allegations, or at least look to the situation and go, maybe he is a truth teller. You're giving him a W for no reason. That's the problem.
Did you ever imagine that you would be standing with the Democrats on the Epstein files and on health care subsidies?
No, I never imagined that.
She's not afraid to be an outlier. She's the only Republican member of Congress to call the war in Gaza a genocide. And why did you vote against?
Oh, she's the only Republican. That's not true. Thomas Massie has as well, right? I like that Thomas Massie doesn't exist in this equation. And I would go so far as to say Thomas Massie has a better position than Marjorie Taylor Greene does on the issue. Oh, is Massie independent? I thought Thomas Massie was a Republican. Wait, what? And Thomas Massie is a freak too, but no, I don't think Rand Paul called it a genocide. No, I'm pretty sure he's a Republican. I don't think he's an independent. Massie has a better position than Leslie on Israel, if we're honest. Many people have a better position on Israel than Leslie Stahl does. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, okay? If you're a liberal, or if you're like somewhat progressive and you look to these media institutions and you think like, oh, these guys are progressive. No, the average dumb right-winger who's anti-Israel has a better position on Israel than Leslie Stahl or any number of different like supposedly woke liberal media figures have, okay? It's totally ridiculous.
Is there no value in having the United States Congress reaffirm the fact that they denounce anti-Semitism in the face of a growing issue, a growing problem?
We don't have to.
Once again, if she was smart, her retaliation in this situation is to say, anti-Semitism, just like any other bigotry, is a problem, okay? But the very fact that you bring up anti-Semitism while we're talking about a genocide is insane, okay? It's insane because the maximalist position as to why anti-Semitism could be a problem is a genocide, right? Is the genocide that took place, the Holocaust. So while there is a new version of the Holocaust taking place, you consistently bringing up anti-Semitism is not only an ineffective distraction, but it actually unfairly pairs up Judaism with Zionism, unfairly pairs up the Jewish American population with the interests of an apartheid state, leading to more anti-Semitic opinions by random people who are not as well read on this issue. This is the way to combat this. That's the correct position to if you wanted to actually talk about this stuff, this is what you're supposed to say. It's ridiculous. Also, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to say all of that because, you know, I'm still not fully sold on her no longer being anti-Semitic. I know she went to like a Holocaust memorial or something, and then they made her write like a book report about how the Holocaust was bad. Remember that? But I don't know if she actually shed those points of view. Not to say that like that's the only reason why she's anti-Israel. I'm not saying that either. But I do feel like separate to that, she might still be, you know, maybe a little. I don't know if she is as reformed as people would have you believe.
Get on our knees and say it over and over again when we
Get on our knees?
Yes, we do not have to get on our knees.
Well, most members of
Get on our knees. Yeah, she's using embellished language, Leslie, because you are literally consistently hitting her in the head over with this thing when mysteriously right after the conversation of genocide was brought up. Like, what are we doing? People can see this. Stupid people can see what's going on. I'm sorry, okay? If you quite literally and consistently bring up anti-Semitism as a serious problem that's like really, really hurting Jews in contemporary United States of America right now, like in the Upper East Side is like a terrifying place to live in for American Jews now, because like, you know, there's a sequence of hate crimes that are taking place with regular frequency. Jews are not being allowed to have jobs like and retain gainful employment in this country. If you say like that. When someone's talking about what Israel is doing in genocide, yeah, it does come across like you're literally demanding genuflection and utilizing this totally separate thing as a way to get your opponent to shut the up, and it doesn't work anymore. And also, not only does it not work anymore, but it also literally gives credence to the argument that like Judaism and Zionism is tied to one another at a time when nobody's with Israel. So now you're just like badgering people over and over again into not with Jews either.
Anti-Semitism in the face of a growing issue, a growing problem.
We don't have to get on our knees and say it over and over again when we
Get on our
already...
knees?
Yes, we do not have to get on our knees.
Well, most members of Congress disagree with you.
Well, most members of Congress take donations from AIPAC, and I don't.
AIPAC?
Woo! I mean, she cooked right there. Sorry. You don't need to give Marjorie Taylor Greene a W under no circumstance. Do you have to give Marjorie Taylor Greene a W? But she's like, you're Leslie Stahl. You've been doing this for longer than most people have been alive. How the do you have this conversation without recognizing that like you're going to look like an insane person in front of an actually insane person?
Greene's perspective indicates a growing rift within MAGA over support for Israel.
Are you MAGA?
I am America First.
And that's not the same as MAGA.
MAGA is President Trump's phrase. That's his political policies. I call myself America First.
But you're not saying you're MAGA. That's
I'm
over.
America First. Yep.
God bless you, President Trump. Thank
Almost
you.
overnight, she's gone from a close
I just don't think she's actually going to be able to split the base like that. Because I think as long as Trump is around, it's just not happening. As long as Big T is around, I just don't know. I feel like he has the capacity to whip those people back into shape. America First is inevitable, though. Yeah, I mean, he'll find a way to basically make himself come across like he's America First. The point is, it's like, Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line, right? And that there's truth to that. It's a thing that I talk about all the time where it's like you don't see right-wing infighting, right? You don't see right-wing infighting that frequently with the same frequency that you see like leftist infighting, right? And part of that is because they're just like invested in this movement that is built around, white supremacy or whatever the and they've bought into it. That's why you see so many right-wingers, regardless of Trump's immediate actions, directly targeting them, still demonstrate maximum fealty to Donald Trump. Donald Trump can go around being like, I'm going to starve you to death, you working poor bitches. All of you are so stupid. You will always vote for me because I say Mexicans are bad, and that makes you feel better about your circumstances. And they'll go, hell yeah, Mr. President, you're a truth teller. I can't wait to vote for you 1,000,000 times. I'm going to vote for you harder next time, actually, because I am a dumb baby. He literally was running around being like, oh, you want the healthcare premiums to not triple in size or triple in cost? Guess what? I'm starving 42 million Americans now. Democrats gave him that W. So I just don't see this being like a real splinter. The only thing you can rely on is how angry and how hungry people get and how much they recognize that Donald Trump hasn't actually fixed their economic problems that he said he was going to fix.
Behind the scenes, do they talk differently?
Yes.
How?
Oh, it would shock people.
Well, let's shock people.
Okay.
Yeah, Leslie's like, give me the juice. Come on. This is why we had you on. And this is the point. This is the reason why I feel like they did this whole entire thing.
I watched many of my colleagues go from making fun of him, making fun of how he talks, making fun of me constantly for supporting him, to when he won the primary in 2024, they all started, excuse my language, Leslie, kissing his ass and decided to put on a MAGA hat for the first time.
And let's break it down real simple.
This past week, when we saw Greene
The fact that mainstream media constantly brings up anti-Semitism when talking about Israel, it can breed resentment in other minorities. While we focus on so much on what microaggressions may be considered anti-Semitic, there are brown people getting black bagged, makes people think, what makes that prejudice more important than the prejudice that we're facing? Oh, 100%. Absolutely. It makes everybody mad. That's the crazy thing. It literally polarizes everybody against Jews. Because if you're like brown, and you're seeing ICE kidnap brown people and the media is totally normalizing this kind of behavior, you're like, what the what's going on here? Black and brown people experience systemic racism in ways that are, get mad at me all you want for saying this, far more consequential and far more immediate than any kind of systemic anti-Semitism that could potentially take root in American society once again, as it did in the past. Okay? It's just the truth. Anti-Semitism in the modern day and age in the United States of America, it's real, it happens, but it's not the same as anti-black racism, anti-brown racism. It's not systematic. It's not systemic. Okay? Jews, many of them Ashkenazi in the United States of America, are perceived as white. Okay, so this hyper focus on anti-Semitism to basically try and make it seem as though it's identical to, like, you know, black people getting shot and killed by cops is an insane take that liberals have adopted for some weird reason. It's insane. And for most normal people, they look at this and go, what the are you saying? Most people, they see this as like, what are you talking about? In spite of the historic struggles, in spite of the pogroms, in spite of the genocides, in spite of the Holocaust, like, Jews have done fairly well. They're you know, they've done a great job in the United States of America, being, you know, titans of industry and finding a lot of success, and more power to them. There's no issue there. But the idea that, like, in that environment, and this doesn't mean all Jews are in places of power or whatever, there's, you know, still a ton of, an overwhelming majority of Jews are, of course, working class individuals just like you and I. But, like, just as though there are capital owners and bourgeois Jewish people in the United States of America, there's far more, 99%, that is working class, of working class background. And there is no like monolithic approach to this sort of thing at all. Having said that, for most people, they just look at it and they go, what the are you talking about? Dudes, you know, Jewish people have done pretty good in the United States of America, all things considered.